So that's really just an overview to get to whet the appetite. In terms of the next steps, what I would like to say is that talk about job creation. We actually have created some jobs close to home in TNI and both in the Causeway. And Lesley Ann's job, she sits beside me every day, and her job is to know everything about what is going on, take pressure off me. And we just were saying this morning, I'm able to turn to Lesley and go, what time is the Causeway bus going up to Bushmills, and will there be extra one? And she knows the answer, so no pressure to Lesley. So I'll bring Lesley, and Lesley works for our team in Tourism Northern Ireland and is the 148th Open Project Manager. So welcome.
Hi everyone. I think Carlin's kind of pitched me as this font of knowledge. My Christmas kind of took a slight dip in the amount of statistics that I could recite off the cuff, so just bear with me. They're in there somewhere. They're slowly coming back. Yes, as Carlin said, I'm project manager for the 148th Open, not the 148th project manager. That is my one awful joke. I assure you there's no more to come, and apologies for anybody who's heard it before because I say it a lot. So we're here today to talk about the Open and the role that you can play within Belfast in particular. Belfast is of massive importance to the event. It's one of the key accommodation hubs, and we're going to go through some of the detail about servicing the visitors, the spectators that are coming, getting them to the event, and tips and things that you can do to kind of enhance their experience. And we're completely reliant on you guys in the industry to do that and work with us and showcase that warmth of welcome that Northern Ireland is renowned for. So we're talking about the opportunity that you can leverage from the event pre, during and post the event. The Open is bigger than the Championship Week, the 14th to the 21st of July. The RNA, the contractors, the teams are already here. They've been coming for the past 2 years to do on-course preparations, and they are staying wider than the Causeway Coast and Glens region. Some of them are staying in Belfast, some of them will be staying in Belfast during event week as well. And not just the RNA, the patrons, the spectators and their friends and family. So it's of a vital importance that we're making the most of this opportunity for the increase in global visitors. So as Carlin mentioned, we have been working with the RNA for over 5 years to attract the event back to Northern Ireland for the first time since 1951. And it is our ambition collectively as part of NIPLC to ensure that it's the biggest and the best Open in its history. A fact that we kind of tried to allude to regarding ticket sales, and tried to warm people up to the prospect that it would sell quite quickly, that it would sell out and that it would sell quickly. But the fact that it happened just so quickly for Championship days, I think, was completely unprecedented and unexpected by all of us. So it's brilliant to kind of be in that position with the general admission for across Championship days sold out. Hospitality and practice days are still available on theopen.com. So yes, on-course preparations have been spanning over kind of the last 4 years, and that's kind of equated to approximately 2,500 bed nights to date associated with those preparations, which is huge. The Open has been running since 1860, and it's the oldest and the most prestigious major championship. So whenever it comes, it gives us the opportunity to propel Northern Ireland on a global stage to a global audience. Major events are of massive importance to the tourism strategy for Northern Ireland. They bring visitors in. The broadcast reach of these events is what kind of takes us to a new level. And not only that people are coming for the event, they come back. It's the repeat custom and the opportunity to kind of bring them in once, hook them on an event or on a specific topic, package it all up, the surrounding experience, and then get them to come back. Research has shown from previous Opens that about 60 to 70% of visitors and spectators coming to the event intend to return to that area within 12 months. And that's a massive statistic when you consider that the spectator numbers across the week is 190,000. So they're not only coming just to experience the event, they're coming to experience our people, our landscapes, our hospitality right across Northern Ireland. So just some numbers. Portrush and Northern Ireland is set to come alive from the 14th to the 21st of July. The Open is one of the 4 majors, and it is the only one played within the UK. we've cut our teeth on previous events such as the Irish Open, which Carlin has alluded to, and that was really us kind of testing the water, showing that we can do this and we can do it well whenever we band together as Northern Ireland PLC. Many of these visitors are coming here for the first time to experience our golf courses. Some of them are maybe have only bought a ticket for one day and are packaging a holiday and going and playing some of our wonderful courses while they're here. We do have a dedicated golf marketing manager, Leanne Rice, who's currently at the PGA show in Florida, working really hard selling Northern Ireland as a wonderful golfing destination. But there is anecdotal feedback that golf within the island of Ireland, and in particular the ROI, is nearly reached saturation. So this is our opportunity for Northern Ireland to tap into that lucrative market and use the Open as a hook to get those guys to come back. As we said, 190,000 spectators expected across the championship week. It is massive, 42,500 on the championship days and slightly less on practice days, but that gives us an opportunity to kind of build and test the plans and the logistics and adjust as we need to running into those key championship days. So yes, just to say it again, championship days are sold out for general admission, practice days and corporate hospitality still available. So just some stats and numbers. 190,000 spectators from around the world. Over 50% of those ticket purchasers are from out of state. The beauty of being in this position where the championship days are sold out is we know who's coming. The RNA hold that data about those ticket purchasers, where they're coming from, what their intentions are, and it's also a captive market that we can start and push out what else is going on. So the guys are coming. They're now in a position where we're looking at what is their visitor experience while they're here, what other events are on, what's on in the evenings, where it's good to eat and drink, and we can kind of push that information out not only through the RNA's channels to ticket holders, but through ourselves at Tourism Northern Ireland, through our partners at Tourism Ireland, Causeway Coast and Glens, Volunteer Network, and I'll come on to that in a bit more detail later on. It's anticipated that the economic benefit of hosting the event is 80 million. And it will be broadcast to over 150 countries and 80 million TV audience tuned into the event. So those are actually people who've made the choice to sit down and watch it and eyeball the event and eyeball Northern Ireland, because there will be opportunities for cutaway footage, vignettes showcasing the destination as well. So there's never been a more important time to consider excellence in service. And that's what these engagement sessions are really about, just to kind of give you some tips in preparation for that, introduce you to the team, come and talk to us afterwards, and we'll see where we can help and facilitate. But you're in control of your business, and it's up to you to leverage this opportunity. We will provide as much information, resources as we can, but we really need you to tell us what we're doing, what you're doing as well, so that we can push that out to those wider audiences. We were over at the Carnoustie event last year, and some sort of anecdotal feedback from that is some pubs and restaurants as far out as St Andrews ran out of ice. So it's little things like considering, do you have enough stock? The event's obviously running the 14th to the 21st of July, which is kind of a peak holiday season for Northern Ireland, so making sure that you have enough staff coverage, that people aren't going and taking their holidays at that time. So it's just thinking about the little things and the little things that make a difference. So just to give you some sense of the event and what 190,000 people coming to Royal Portrush Golf Course will mean. For last year at Carnoustie, which had a slightly smaller capacity of 172,000, they sold 15,000 sandwiches, 70,000 bottles of soft drinks, 120 pints of beer, 10,000 burgers, 9,000 portions of fish and chips, and 10 tons of chips. It's massive. And then for the delivery of the event itself, there's going to be 350 golf buggies on site, 70 kilometres of power cable, square tentage, it's 800 toilets. It's huge, it's massive, and that's kind of just putting it into a bit of context as to what the actual event on the ground is going to look like in terms of number and servicing those visitors that are coming in. So we've mentioned before kind of preparations on course and the RNA kind of being here over the last number of years. They've created 2 completely new holes, which are replacing the 17th and the 18th holes, which the current 17th and 18th holes, which are going to become the site for the spectator village. So if anybody has tickets, that's where you come and find me in the TNI tent during the course of the championship week. So for the event itself, as we said before, it's this ambition, our collective ambition, to make it the biggest and best event in open history. We're doing that on a partnership delivery model across all of Northern Ireland PLC, from government right down to local councils and individual business providers. It's a global event run by a global brand that's going to raise our global ambition as a destination. So the real opportunities are around the beginning and the end of the day for you within the industry. People are coming to watch the golf. They've bought a ticket, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to go to the event and get as much of that experience as they can. But think about, getting them there. Do they need breakfast? Do they need a packed lunch? Those are the sort of things that you can facilitate, and then getting them back in the evening as well. So yeah, it's really about showcasing Northern Ireland PLC through the lens of the Open. There's also a massive opportunity around job creation for the event. There's about 6,000 jobs will be created to service the event, and that's from volunteers, marshals, to hospitality and catering, right down to all the contractors involved in delivering this. Particularly around the hospitality and catering side, we've been doing an awful lot of work with Sodexo and local authorities to service those resource requirements. Sodexo are the sole hospitality and catering provider for the event. But what that creates is those guys will be going in, they'll be working at the Open, they'll get that amazing experience of working at a global event, servicing global visitors, and then they'll be coming out of it post-event week ready to go back into the hospitality industry with Northern Ireland. So those are some of the conversations that we're having around leveraging the opportunity. How do we get these guys with this amazing experience back into much needed hospitality skills sector? So what do we want of our event attendees? We want them to come back. We want them to experience the warmth of welcome that we are so well known for, have an unforgettable experience, and take away knowing that Northern Ireland is made for golf and their future golf vacations. So some of the key areas that we've kind of been working on as part of this collaborative project delivery is the event delivery. We are the lead contract holders with the RNA for the event delivery, and we're doing that in conjunction with government and local authority providers in the core delivery planning through a series of multi-agency working groups. Marketing and communications, we have our channels within Tourism Northern Ireland, looking within the island of Ireland, and then pulling that up through Tourism Ireland to look globally at opportunities around that. Industry engagement, such as events like this, and also kind of one-on-one sessions and contact with ourselves within Tourism Northern Ireland. World Host, I know Stephen is here and is going to talk about that later, but we've looked at tailoring a World Host half-day ambassador training, particularly serviced for the Gulf visitor. The trade and investment opportunities that this presents, we're working really closely with Invest Northern Ireland as to what hosting the Open and bringing investors in to kind of experience the great and the good of Northern Ireland could mean for the future economy. Volunteering, again, Lindsay from Volunteer Now is in the room over here, so she's going to talk to you about some of the volunteering opportunities that are coming up. But the volunteering is going to be wider than the Causeway Coast and Glens region. Yes, there is a role of the volunteers to help service the event and help manage the flow of people in and out of the event, but we also want to position them at gateways and key accommodation hubs to create that overarching sense of welcome and sense of experience. So accommodation product development as well. As Carlin said, we have had an increase of 45% in new accommodation stock across Northern Ireland in the last year, 3,500 bed nights within Causeway Coast and Glens region. So that is huge. We do have a quality and standards certification process, and Sean from Tourism Northern Ireland is floating around if anybody needs to speak to him about what that entails. Just to advise, there is currently a 12-week kind of turnaround on that because of the high numbers that we've been experiencing. So if anybody is considering getting certification ahead of the Open, we would urge you to do that sooner rather than later and come speak to us today. dressing and animation, showcasing local food and drink. As we mentioned, we're working with Sodexo to look at the resourcing, but we're also looking at how do we leverage the amazing food and drink product that we have within Northern Ireland and get as much of that in the grounds of the event and used within the menu, within the corporate hospitality, the patron supplier zones. We're working really closely with executive chefs and Food NI and Invest NI again to help design and influence that process. Employment and skills development I've touched on, and again just leveraging the opportunity that this presents. So why are they coming? Northern Ireland is a destination made for golf. We've done an awful lot of work with our amazing golf courses that are absolutely stunning across links, parklands, and all of them. We have 96 golf courses in Northern Ireland, 35 of which are currently through our accreditation scheme. So I'm just going to show you a very quick video that kind of paints a picture of why Northern Ireland is a land made for golf. So we've kind of talked about the value of events and what they mean for the tourism product within Northern Ireland. And just to kind of bolster that with the value of golf tourism with Northern Ireland, which is why the Open itself is of such significance to us. These are some statistics from the Golf Tourism Monitor. There are new statistics due to be released in February this year, but we're anticipating that they will continue to show the same trends. We know that the golf product in terms of participation has its own challenges, but what we are seeing is that golf tourism is continuing to holding strong, and there's some real opportunities around there. As Carolyn said, the estimated spend per golfer is £2,228,000 per week, which breaks down to £253 per day. Our key markets for golf tourism is North America, the Nordics, Germany, GB, ROI. We do know that the North American markets are the big spenders, the high flyers, the guys who are coming, who have very limited holiday allowances, so whenever they come they really make an impact whenever they're here. And there are nuances between those markets. Some of the Nordics and the German markets in particular are slightly more price sensitive. So while those headline stats are there, it's just important to understand who's coming and who your audience are and what their country of origin is so that you can tailor any service and offerings to that. As I said before, we've got a dedicated golf marketing manager who can help unpack all these figures. If anybody has any queries, you can filter them through me because she's having a whale of a time. So yeah, our opportunity is now, and the Open is here to shine a light on our offering. The typical golf visitor takes between 1 and 2 golf holidays a year, so there's massive opportunity to kind of share that right across Northern Ireland and right across the fabulous golf courses that we have. So just to kind of a few takeaways from those findings, they're not only coming to play golf, they're coming to experience the hospitality, the friendliness, to experience the good food and drink, and Northern Ireland is very much propelling and exceeding itself as a known food destination. They're coming for the scenery and they're coming for the non-golf landmarks. These guys don't always travel alone. They bring friends and family with them who aren't necessarily out on the golf course, and they're out experiencing everything else that we have to offer. So coming up, my next kind of big piece of work is around dressing and animation. Looking at how we leverage the 19th hole experience, as we call it, making sure that there's lots on for people to see and do while they're here for the Open. I've put a few mock-ups in there with the Zorbs. Brings a new meaning to coming down the lagan in a bubble. I had another joke. I had 2 jokes I liked. But we're looking at the gateways, the airports, the train stations, creating a sense of welcome there. We're working with Belfast City Council and other local authorities to tap into dressing sites across towns and cities where we know these spectators are going to be staying. We're also looking at events, a programme of events, but this is where we need you to tell us what you're doing as well, and come and talk to us. I've already spoke to a number of you in the room, and I see a few of you that I'm going to pinpoint today to pick up more conversations. So this is really a big piece of work that we're working on at the moment, and there will be more information in due course. Either come and speak to me today or sign up for notifications on tourismnorthernireland.com. We will be producing kind of point of sale kits and guidance for things that window stickers and dressing that you can kind of leverage and put into your premises. There are some pieces of information available on our media library currently. There's some hero photography around Royal Portrush. There's some of the NI Made for Golf brand assets on there, but that will be kind of bolstered and added to as we move through this. So it's vitally important that there is a really good programme of events in Belfast, because that helps manage the spectator flow as well for the event. We will have volunteers positioned not only in Belfast but in the Causeway Coast and Glens, and they'll be there sharing that information of people coming out of the event as to what's on, where's good to eat, and kind of helping coordinate movement of people back to where they're staying and where their accommodation is. So that's an onus on us to make sure that people are going out and experiencing this festival of surrounding events everywhere that they can. So just to finish up, some resources for you to take away today is the Tourism NI team, which is mainly me as the single point of contact to everybody else. I have lots of business cards if anybody wants to come and grab one. tourismni.com, you can register for our email alerts on there, and that's where we'll be kind of pushing out any updated information about activation and assets that you can tap into. And our media library at tourismnorthernireland.com. It's a brilliant resource, not just related to the Open. There's reams and reams of photography and brand assets up there that are free of charge for you to use. So that is me. This is what we're looking forward to. Looks pretty great. Thank you very much.